Start spreading the news, Yankees fans. New York. I guess I can't say New York this weekend. The Yankees defeat the New York Mets 6-2 to win the opening game of the Subway Series, and it was a doozy of a night for New York in general. Sorry, Mets fans. But between the New York Knicks throttling the Boston Celtics to advance to the Eastern Conference Final and the Yankees getting a 6-2 victory, Manhattan and the Bronx were abuzz all night long, and there were a plethora of storylines to discuss. Obviously, the biggest one was what would happen during Juan Soto's return to Yankee Stadium. And it was a mixed night for him. He does not get a hit, but he walked in his first 3 at-bats. But then he also scored a run, but also got the last out of the game. He also got an out with runners in scoring position earlier in the game as well. So his final line is 0 for 2 with 3 walks and a run scored. And overall, the Yankees really broke things open in that third inning where they got to Tyler Miguel, who was, solid through those first couple innings, but then it all kind of fell apart in the bottom of the third. It got started with Yorbit Vivas singling to right field, a Grisham ground out followed by an Aaron Judge walk, a Cody Bellinger infield single kind of cues the ball off the end of the bat. Everybody is safe. Paul Goldschmidt, broken bat, singled the shortstop, and an error by Francisco Lindor and a bad scoop by Pete Alonso allows 2 runs to score. Jason Dominguez walks. Anthony Volpe hits a sacrifice fly. Austin Wells walks. Oswald Peraza walks in a run. And then Yorbit Vivas, who started the inning, finally got that final out of the inning as the Yankees batted around to score and give themselves a 4-0 lead. The Mets end up getting a run back in the top of the 4th, but then the Yankees add on 2 more in the bottom of the 4th to take a lead. They would never relinquish. Things got a little hairy there in the 9th inning with Yerito Los Santos. After getting a couple outs, he had a walk to Yordan Alvarez. Sorry, excuse me. After getting the first out, he has a walk to Francisco Alvarez. That is the correct Alvarez this time. Not the great player for Houston, but the catcher for the New York Mets here. Got Brett Beatty, who pinch hit for Luis Angel Acuna to strike out, and then walked Jeff McNeil, the pinch hitter. Francisco Lindor doubled down the left field line to score, and that brought Juan Soto to the plate with runners on second and third, down 4, and that brought Luke Weaver out of the bullpen into the mound, and they got a shallow fly out to center field from Juan Soto to win this game. Carlos Rodon was really, really strong. He had some interesting moments there in the top of the 4th where he got a little bit shaky, but he got out of it, only allowing 1 run. Ends up going 5 innings, 2 hits, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 run. And then the Yankees bullpen was mostly solid. We got to see Jonathan Loaisiga for the first time this year get a scoreless inning out of the pen, followed by Mark Leiter Jr. Devin Williams comes in the 8th inning and strikes out the side, including his playoff nemesis, Pete Alonso, who had a monster home run off him in the postseason last year that many said, quote-unquote, broke Devin Williams. Then the Yankees tried to get out of the game with Yerito Los Santos with a 5-run lead, and as we kind of detailed, they weren't quite able to do that, but Luke Weaver comes in and gets that final out. He only needed 2 pitches to do so, and gets his 5th save of the year for the Yankees. And obviously this game had that big game feel throughout. This was as close to a playoff game as I remember a game in mid-May ever being. And I think, obviously, as we talked about as we previewed the series on yesterday's show, there is some level of excitement always for the Subway Series, and there's a level of just geographical proximity that matters because, like I said, you work with somebody that's a Mets fan. Maybe your family members with somebody that's a Mets fan. Your boss, your direct report, your friend, the guy at the bodega, whatever it is, they might be a Mets fan. So you have to see them every day. You're seeing them tonight, maybe. You're seeing them tomorrow. You're going to see them on Monday when the series is over. So you're going to have a lot to say. It's a little bit closer proximity than if you're fighting with Phillies fans, if you're a Mets fan, or fighting with Red Sox fans, if you're a Yankees fan. And this game really had that emotion. You have two first-place teams that are playing well in New York, but you also have Juan Soto. And the bleacher creatures turning their back on Juan Soto as he comes out to the outfield as he's introduced. Soto was booed mercilessly throughout this game. There were a number of, how would I say this, F Juan Soto chants throughout the game. It wasn't even just when Juan Soto was up to bat. Like, just in general, it was just like there was just a cacophony of F Juan Soto chants throughout the game. It was just an interesting atmosphere all around. And you could see Juan Soto, who earlier in the day was talking to kind of the grounds crew. You saw him talking with Austin Wells a lot behind the plate because obviously, there was a strong bond developed between the team and Juan Soto. You go on a World Series run and you're such a key player and you're the personality that Juan Soto is. It's hard not to, have that kind of relationship. But it obviously was not enough to get him to come back and sign with the Yankees this offseason, and Yankees fans are not going to let him forget about it. So, but it was a very interesting, unique atmosphere. I don't think it's going to get a lot easier for Juan Soto the rest of the series. This was probably the worst of it because this was the first time. This was the build-up. There was an off day between it. It was like, okay, here we go. This is going to be the thing. But I still imagine that he's going to get plenty of chance tomorrow. And speaking of tomorrow, or I guess today, I'm recording this right after the game, but today as you're listening to this, the Yankees and Mets Game 2 is the first game of the day on Saturday, 1:05 p.m. start time. It is Griffin Canning going up against Clark Schmidt as the Yankees hope to take the second game of the series. And day game after night game, that's a pretty quick turnaround. So we're going to kind of see some of the lineups change a little bit for both sides. Both sides had to use a good number of bullpen arms in this game. Obviously, both sides had Thursday off, so it's not as, we're not in that dire a situation. Everybody had Thursday off, but Griffin Canning has been really, really strong so far this season. He is only allowed one game with more than 2 earned runs so far this season. That was back on April 11th against the Athletics, where he allowed 4 over 5 1/3. But his last 5 starts have been sterling. 6 innings, 1 run. 5 innings, 1 run. 5 innings, no runs. 5 innings, 1 run. 6 innings, 1 run. So he has been tagged with the home run ball a little bit. He's allowed 4 home runs so far this season and has allowed a home run in each of his last 2 games. But for the most part, he has been very, very solid on the mound. And Clark has been a little bit up and down. He has some good moments. He's had some bad moments. He's had some okay moments. But you look at his last 3 starts overall, I think you're pretty happy with what you've gotten since he had that blow up in Cleveland. You had 5 innings in a run against Toronto, 6 innings and 2 runs against San Diego, and then his most recent start back on the 12th in Seattle. 6 innings, 3 earned runs. Gave up 2 homers, which you don't like to see. But for the most part, he's been pretty solid over these last 3 starts, and hopefully he will be that again for the Yankees as they look to win the second game of the series. But before we wrap things up, let's talk about just a couple of the hitting stats, just so you're aware, just in case you didn't know. The middle of the lineup really got things going for the Yankees. The Yankees had 8 hits. 7 of them came from their 2-3-4 hitters of Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger, and Paul Goldschmidt. Judge went 2 for 4 in this game, up to a .414 average, a .500 on base, and a .1275 OPS. Just absolutely ridiculous. Cody Bellinger was excellent tonight and looked really strong. 3 hits in his 5 at-bats, scored a couple runs. He's creeped his batting average above 240 now, so he's starting to get there. I know there's a lot of Yankee fans a little bit upset about how high he's continued to hit in the lineup while he was struggling. he is playing better ball of late. And just Paul Goldschmidt, again, just continues to hit 2 for 4, 2 runs batted in, a run scored, hitting 349. He's basically hitting 350. His slash line of 350, 400, 500 is just ridiculous. So he continues to have a lot of success. The Yankees don't get much from the bottom of their lineup. Let's see, 3, 6, 9. I'm doing quick math here. 15. So they go 1 for 15 with 4 walks from the 5 hitter down in this game. So which is Dominguez, Volpe, Wells, Peraza, and Vivas. So they don't get much from the bottom of their lineup. Isn't necessarily a shock. Grisham's the only name I haven't mentioned so far. 0 for 3, but he did draw a pair of walks in this game. So I imagine we're going to see a pretty similar lineup. I would imagine Escara is going to come in at catcher. I would imagine that we might see Paul Goldschmidt DH in this game. And then Ben Rice play first with Jason Dominguez taking a seat. But we'll kind of see what the lineup looks like. But that would be my guess right now, is that Dominguez takes a seat, Goldschmidt DHs, and Ben Rice starts at first base. That would be my guess, but we'll find out pretty quickly. You might even know by the time you listen to this because it's such an early game tomorrow. But thank you for listening, and we will be back on Monday morning to recap the final 2 games of the Subway Series and to do the full Yankees weekend recap. I will talk to you then.